This is a set of carburetors off of an '04 to '07 Triumph Thruxton, one of the carbureted models. They're the exact same as the ones off of a Triumph Bonneville or the Triumph America. All of those old Triumphs are about the same. There might be some minor differences here and there in how they're put together or how they're equipped, or some of the trim, or some of the shiny bits on them might be a little bit different, but for the most part they are the same bike. These carburetors had sat for about 10 years before I got to touch them, so there was quite a bit of corrosion underneath the float bowls, especially some corrosion on that float seat there, that brass piece that I was pointing at. I'm going to try and show you using the flashlight just how much corrosion there is inside of there, and then I'm going to show you how to clean it. But let's zoom in a little bit on this. So you can see the brass has some pitting on it, and it's not exactly reflecting light like it should. You can see the corrosion on the main jet and emulsion tube there, that protrusion sticking out that looks like somewhat soft, shiny brass. It should look a lot shinier than that. We're probably going to replace those two parts. Anyway, the way that I clean the float seat is with some oversized Q-tips. These are just extra large cotton swabs. You can buy them off of Amazon for about 10 bucks for a whole package. I'm not going to put a link in the description or anything. I don't get paid for that, so you can find them on Amazon pretty easily using a search. I'm not going to hold your hand here. So anyway, I'm going to use the one on the right because it's a lot bigger. The one on the left is a normal size Q-tip, and it's not big enough to fit inside of the fuel seat and actually get it clean. We're also going to use some valve grinding compound. This also goes by the name of valve lapping compound. You can get it in various grades. I find the stuff by Permatex works well enough to clean most of the corrosion out of these fuel seats. I'm going to start by cutting the extra large cotton swabs in half, or roughly in half. That way they will fit into my cordless drill. So we're going to use a drill and some extra large cotton swabs and valve grinding compound in order to clean these fuel seats. Before I go ahead and do that though, I'm going to test fit my extra large cotton swabs inside of the fuel seats. They fit really nicely. So once I do that, I'm going to show you my drill. Here's the drill. Don't laugh, I bought it at Walmart about 15 years ago, something like that. I've had it ever since. It works great. It's been charging up ever since, so I see no reason to get rid of it. It's the one I keep in the house. I have another one in the garage and another one in my work van. So you can see I've fit the Q-tip or the extra large cotton swab inside of my drill, and I've applied a little bit of valve grinding compound to the end of the extra large cotton swab. You don't have to use a whole lot. This is probably too much, so I'm going to go ahead and smear it around using my fingers. That might even be a little bit too little. You don't really have to be careful about how much you use. You can use as much as you want. If you're sloppy with it, you just have to do a better job of cleaning it out once you're done. You're introducing some particulate matter into the carburetor. So you're going to have to clean it out really good once you're done polishing it. But you can see the process of using the drill with the cotton swab inserted into it, and then you just spin it around, go whole hog on it. I like to alternate between, call it a dirty Q-tip and a dry Q-tip, or a wet Q-tip with valve lapping compound on it. And then I'll alternate. I'll use one clean one, and then one wet one, and then one clean one, and then one wet one. And then when I get done, I clean it out using compressed air that I introduce through the fuel line, and then a whole lot of carburetor cleaner. You can see here the cotton swab forms a nice little tip on it as it works its way into the fuel seat. You repeat this process until the brass becomes shiny, until it reflects light like it should. I'll show you here in a second or two what that looks like after it's clean. And then, like I was saying, once you're done with this polishing process, and you can use various polishing compounds. There's polishing compounds made specifically for brass. You can start with a more coarse compound and then work your way to a finer compound depending on how much corrosion there is inside of this fuel seat. But yeah, you can see now it's starting to reflect some light and it's starting to look nice, like it might actually seal up once we install some new parts on this set of carburetors. The last step is just to clean up the mess that I've made with valve lapping compound inside here. I do that with compressed air, a whole lot of compressed air, and then a whole lot of carburetor cleaner, just to clean all of that out of the fuel line and out of the fuel system.